Chapter 7. Verity. Of course, they weren't really walking away from the temple. Once they were safely out of earshot and sight, the three children doubled back on themselves, giving the camp a wide berth, to circle back around towards the temple. Because they were not using established paths, the three friends had to occasionally beat the bush back with sticks that they had collected over the days. V hadn't taken a stick as seriously as Ethan, who had whittled away all the notches with his penknife to give himself a smooth bush beater. Verity's was a knobbly affair, but it did the same job. Before long, the explorers, for that's now how they felt, had reached the foot of the imposing temple. Standing at the bottom, full of awe and excitement, the children looked up at the massive stone stairs. The day was overcast. Rain was expected later, but this didn't stop the temple from looking otherworldly, magnificent. Strong and regal, proud yet comfortable, the pyramid sat there, presiding over its kingdom with a sense of majesty. Whether the power that the pyramid commanded over its buildings and lands was earned through peaceful ruling and respect, or from the fear of sacrifices and the human and animal blood that once flowed from its summit, only those ancient buildings would know. Once, when this had been a bustling city of Mesoamerican culture, of trade and work, gods and mere mortals, the pyramid would have ruled it all, visible from every street, from every corner, from every living quarter. This impressive monument to ancient Maya culture was both the head and the heart of that newly discovered society, and it felt to Verity as if it was still beating now, to this day. Its life force, she could almost sense, was reaching out to the other buildings, crumbling as they undoubtedly were, trying to keep them alive, and to ward off the threat of time, the attrition of the weather, the chaos of life that had nestled in every crack, nook and cranny, all trying to wear those city bones to dust and earth. What secrets did this building hide? What memories of long-forgotten history was it holding on to? Verity was lost in her imagination. "Come on, V!" Leo's excited voice broke her out of her dream. "Oh, yes, I was just thinking. You know, these people didn't have horses or mules, or even metal tools, and yet they built things like this. It must have been so tough." The stone steps up the height of the temple were large and required big lunges from their legs to get up. They had to stop several times to rest their muscles. The twins and Leo, with their thin, almost scrawny frames, were dwarfed by the huge stonework around them. Verity wondered how it must have felt to have been a Maya prisoner of war, maybe a rival chieftain, to walk up these steps to meet their death. Would it be having their head chopped off or their heart removed? What a terrible choice. Either way, those gods needed the blood, or so the Maya thought. Verity imagined the poor man, painted blue to represent sacrifice, maybe wearing an ornate headdress, being led up to his gruesome death. Not just humans, she remembered, but crocodiles, dogs, jaguars, and even turkeys were sacrifice. Those gods sure were bloodthirsty. Every so often the children stopped to look behind them, at the impressive shallow valley, forest and hills in the distance. The view from the pyramid was stunning. Every now and again birds alighted from their resting place in the trees for one reason or another. Either they needed food, or they didn't want to be food for something else, Verity decided. Finally, and not without a lot of panting and sweating, the children reached the summit of the temple. They were just above the canopy of the tallest trees, but bushes and small hardy trees clung on to life on the temple in places. Life is determined to win, no matter where. After a few gulps of bottled water, Verity did her usual thing and tried to educate her brother. "There would have to be an altar here. Look, I think this is where it would have been. I wonder why it's gone. Anyway, 4 men would have held down the victim over it, with his chest pointing up. Then the priest with an obsidian knife, you know, that shiny black rock stuff, would have taken his heart out. Ugh, that's disgusting. Why would they have done something so evil? Ethan asked. Well, said Leo, I guess they thought it was good. They were pleasing the gods, no? That's a good thing, right? For them? Not for me. Imagine being the guy getting sacrificed. I hardly think he would have liked it, protested Ethan. Actually, in some civilizations it was what is a word? Yes, that is it, an honor to be sacrificed. Yes, Leo's right. I've read about it, added Verity. I'm not sure that was the case for the Maya. I know that sacrifice was sometimes linked to the ball game. Yeah, Ethan's eyes lit up, thinking of sport. The ball game is cool. There must be a court around here somewhere. I was reading in your book on a plane, V. Verity smiled to herself, thinking of Ethan secretly reading her book when she was asleep. There was hope for him yet. The court was in the shape of a capital I, and they bounced a rubber ball, went out their hands or feet, trying to get it through these stone hoops on the wall. They'd wear these knee pads and elbow pads. The bummer was that sometimes the losers were sacrificed. Leo made a grim face. And sometimes, they think, the winners. Holy moly! When we won the footy tournament last month, we all got a McDonald's meal as a treat. That's way better than, losing your heart or your head. The three gave a last look over the Guatemalan forest about them and moved towards the dark opening in the wall of the large square stone building crowning the top of the pyramid. Let's get our torches ready, Verity suggested, and they rummaged through their bags. Ethan edged his way in front of his sister and Leo took his place at the back of the line of three. With a deep intake of the humid forest air about them, Verity tried to calm her excitedly beating heart. This is it, she said, and nudged her brother into the dark doorway that seemed to cross civilizations and time to welcome them into another world. Or did it warn them of another world that awaited them beneath their feet?